Listen close, child, when the street gets loud and cold. When your name's a whisper, turn to rumor on the road. Don't be shocked if they turn their eyes away from you. They turn away from me first. That's the honest truth. If the world hates
God's
you,
beautiful souls,
know
good
it
morning,
hated me.
good evening. Whenever and wherever you listen to this, I hope you're breathing in the goodness of life. I pray you're thinking about how blessed you are in spite of whatever it is you're going through. And more than anything, I pray you're growing every single day. Welcome back to Lies Changes Truth. I'm your host, BK Blessed. And listen, if this episode touches your spirit and blesses your soul, please like, share, and subscribe and follow me on my socials. The more people we get these out to, the more people we can heal. Today is not one of those episodes where you casually listen while folding your laundry. It's not one of those episodes where you nod your head and say, yeah, that's good. And then go right back to being the same person before you heard this episode. No, I want to talk to you today, not at you. I don't want to preach or talk down to you. I just want to talk with you. Heart to heart, human to human, soul to soul. Because I've been thinking about something a lot lately. Something that frustrates me sometimes. And if I'm being completely transparent, it's something I've had to confront myself with. You ever dealt with a person that acts like their opinion came straight from Mount Sinai? Like Moses didn't bring down 10 commandments. He brought down 11. And the 11th one was their opinion. Y'all know the type. And if you don't, then that person's probably you. Whatever they think or believe is right. And any decision they make is right. And whether true or not, if they came to that conclusion, then it's right. And if you disagree, oh my God, now we got a problem. Not because you disrespected them or attacked them, and it's not because you hurt them in any type of way. It's because, how dare you see things differently? And what's crazy is a lot of these people genuinely believe they're open-minded. They'll tell you, I'm willing to listen. I'm open to different views. I respect everyone's opinion until your opinion doesn't match theirs. Then all of a sudden, the meeting's over. The conversation is done. The friendship, it gets weird. The attitude changes and the energy shifts. And if we're real, all of us have had moments like that. So before this episode becomes an episode about those people, I need you to understand something. This episode is really about us, because the hardest person to see is the person staring back at you in the mirror. And today, we're coming for the walls that you built around your mind, the walls you've mistaken for wisdom, that you've mistaken for conviction and strength. Because there's this lie that has destroyed marriages, friendships, families, churches, businesses, and destinies. And most people don't even know they're infected by it. The lie is this: the way I see things is the way things are. Things that make you go, because that's where so many unnecessary conflicts begin. With the person becoming so convinced of their own perspective that they lose the ability to see beyond themselves and God's beautiful soul. When a person can no longer see beyond themselves, they stop growing. And I don't care how old you are, how smart you are, how many books you read, or how many degrees you got. If you think you've arrived, guess what? You've already started declining. Let's look at Proverbs 12:15. It says, fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others. That's the problem. Fools don't listen. The Bible didn't say fools are unintelligent. It says fools think their own way is right. Meaning wisdom isn't about knowing everything. Wisdom is knowing that you don't know everything. That's two totally different ways of thinking. And what I've noticed in my short, long life is that a lot of people don't want truth. They want agreement. Let me say that again for the people in the back. A lot of people don't want truth. They want agreement, because truth might challenge you. It might reveal something that you don't want to see. It could require change. You aren't ready to face yet. Agreement makes you comfortable. And comfort is like an addiction. It feels so amazing when people validate us. Tell us we're right, that we're good, and especially when they tell us we don't need to change. That's why some people only keep relationships around that never challenge them. Because as soon as somebody starts holding up a mirror, they become the enemy. The minute somebody says, have you considered another perspective? They're negative, judgmental, and a hater. Maybe they're just trying to help you see something. And you know what's scary? Most people be so wrong and they don't even know they're wrong, because if they knew they were wrong, they would change. The problem is they feel right. The man who destroys his marriage, he feels right. That woman who pushes everybody away, she feels right. That parent who damages their child, they feel right. And the friend who has no accountability feels right. The Pharisees also felt right. That's what makes this dangerous, because your feelings can lie to you. Your experiences and your assumptions can lie to you. Your wounds and your pride can definitely lie to you. And sometimes the person standing between you and your next level isn't your enemy. It's your certainty. Proverbs 16:18 says, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. The Bible doesn't say destruction comes before pride. It says pride comes first. Meaning the fall started long before the collapse. The minute a person becomes unteachable, they begin falling. They just haven't hit the ground yet. And maybe that's why pride is so dangerous, because pride isn't just about thinking you're right. Sometimes pride is the fear that if one belief falls apart, the entire version of yourself you've built your life around might fall apart. And when a person's identity gets tangled up in their perspective, truth no longer feels like a conversation. It feels like a threat. This is what I really think is happening. Why people find it so hard to let go of their perspective. I don't think people are protecting their opinions. I think they're protecting their identity. Because if I'm wrong about this, what else am I wrong about? If this belief isn't true, what else have I built my life on that isn't true? That's terrifying. But growth requires death. Not physical death, the death of pride, of ego, of certainty, and the death of always needing to be right. Let's keep it all the way real. It's easier to stay comfortable than to go through that death. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do you see what God wants renewed? Your mind. Not your opinions reinforced or your worldview protected. He wants your mind renewed because transformation requires change, and change requires humility. Just a question for thought. When was the last time you changed your mind about something? Seriously. When was the last time somebody showed you something and you said, you know what? I never thought about it that way. When was the last time you learned something that challenged you? When was the last time you admitted, I was wrong? Because if it's been years, that's probably not intelligence, and it can't be wisdom. It's most likely pride. Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Isn't that something? Sometimes the reason someone gets under our skin is because they're uncovering something in us. And instead of you examining it, you attack them. See, we always hear people talking about being trapped by addiction, by fear and depression. There's not enough talk about people being imprisoned by their own perspective. Imagine spending your whole life looking through one window and becoming convinced you've seen the whole world. That's how some people live. They know the experiences they've had, the culture they fit into, and they know their upbringing. They have one heartbreak and one disappointment, and now they think they understand everything. No. You understand what you've seen, and sometimes you don't even fully understand that. But God is so much greater than what you've seen. The truth is bigger than what you've experienced, and wisdom is so much more than what you've learned so far. Isaiah 55, 8-9 says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. Do you hear what God is saying? There are things beyond your current understanding, realities your mind hasn't reached yet, lessons ego keeps blocking. Life's greatest blessings are concealed behind a humble heart. John 8:32 says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Truth makes you free, not being right. Truth. And if you think those two things are always synonymous, you're still imprisoned. Because sometimes freedom begins the second you admit, I've been looking at this all wrong. So what I want to know is, what truth are you fighting because it threatens the version of yourself you've become comfortable with? What belief have you built your identity around? What opinion have you promoted so long that changing it now feels like losing? Who have you tuned out simply because they make you uncomfortable? What if God sent them? What if the answer you've been praying for is hiding behind the perspective you've been refusing to hear? What if your healing isn't waiting on a miracle? What if it's waiting on your willingness to see things differently? Carl Sagan said, it pays to keep an open mind, but not so open, your brains fall out. Man, that's so good. Because wisdom isn't about believing everything. It's being humble enough to examine everything. And the hardest thing to examine, it isn't a new idea. It's ourselves. And that's why I believe this next part is so important. Because God is trying to break something off your life. It's not addiction to drugs or fear or poverty. It's pride. The pride that says, I already know. The pride that says what I think is right. And why would I change my mind? It's because your next level requires a different mindset. But you reject everyone God sends to challenge your thinking. And not because they're wrong, because they make you uncomfortable. God's beautiful soul. Everything that makes you uncomfortable isn't your enemy. Sometimes discomfort is your doorway to growth. Sometimes the person challenging you is the answer to the prayer you forgot you prayed. You asked for wisdom. Wisdom showed up disguised as correction. You asked for growth. Growth showed up disguised as accountability. You asked for transformation. Transformation showed up disguised as a difficult conversation. And you rejected it because it hurt your feelings. The next version of you requires you to think different, a softer heart, a teachable spirit, and a willingness to see what you've never seen before. But some people, they'll never change because they never question themselves. They question everyone else, but they never turn that spotlight inward. And family, there's no growth without self-examination. Psalms 139, 23 through 24 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you." David, he wasn't asking God to bear everyone else's faults. He was asking God to reveal his. And that's where transformation lives. Not in proving others wrong, and allowing God to show you where you're wrong. I really believe some people are so committed to being right because wrong feels unsafe. Or maybe you were never corrected and made to feel like you were always right. Or it could be that you were shamed for being wrong. Or maybe being wrong made you feel small. So now you fight to protect your position. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're damaged. And if that's you, I need you to hear me carefully. Being wrong doesn't make you worthless. Being corrected doesn't make you a failure. Changing your mind doesn't make you weak. It makes you mature, teachable, and most of all, it makes you free. The lie, the way I see things, is the way things are. The change. Imagine what would happen if every morning we prayed, "Lord, show me what I can't see. Correct me before life has to. Don't let my pride become my prison. And Lord, if I'm wrong, give me the courage to change." Do you know how powerful that person becomes? They become unstoppable because teachable people, they evolve, they heal and they grow, and they become so dangerous to darkness. The truth, God's beautiful souls, here is the truth. Your opinion matters, but it's not the only one. Your perspective matters, but it's incomplete. Your experiences matter, but they're not the whole story. And when you make the decision to become more committed to truth than your own certainty, your life will change. You will see change in your relationships. Your future will look different, and you'll feel a weight lifted off your spirit, because the greatest wisdom isn't found in always being right. It's found in being humble enough to listen and be corrected. So maybe, just maybe, the breakthrough you've been praying for, it's waiting on the other side of the words you spent your whole life refusing to hear. This has been episode 61 of Lies Changes Truth. I'm your host, BK Bless. One last thought. You could be smart, experienced, passionate, and sincere, still be wrong. And that's okay. God's beautiful souls, don't let certainty rob you of truth. Don't let pride rob you of wisdom. Don't let ego rob you of growth. And today, don't ask God to prove you right. Ask him to reveal the truth. Because the truth won't always comfort you. The truth won't always agree with you. The truth won't always flatter you. But if you let it, The truth will save you. Until next time, stay teachable. Your perspective ain't the only perspective. And stay you.
There will be nights that make you question every step. There will be days they try to bury what I kept. But love is louder than the hate, and grace will be your skin. Walk slow, speak truth, let mercy come again. If the world hates you, know it hated me before. If you were the world, the love is on for sure. But I chose you out of the noise, I chose you to be free. So plant your feet, breathe my name, walk home with me. I chose you, remember that, not of the world but known. When their backs are turned, you're never walking alone. Oh man.